Hi, Dennis Weiss, Eagle Broadband with a USD 435 update. Have two partners in crime this morning. I have Greg Barron, the superintendent, Chris Cooper, the assistant superintendent, head child leader here at USB 435. So we did a little brief what they want to talk about today, and Greg says, you think that'll do? And I said, I think there's two programs in there. So you have terrific stuff laid out for us, so I'm going to kick it off for you.
You bet. Well,
all right.
In preparing for this week, you know, we've got just tons of things going on in the school system, and I thought about several different opportunities to share. And it's like you were saying, I mean, there's multiple programs of information to share. And I got to thinking probably the most important thing that I'd like to share this week is what I've seen in my short time here with the leadership in the community. And how that's branching into our schoolwork. Yeah, I feel like Abilene is a community that has tremendous leadership, and some different programs, and we'll talk about them just briefly. The CEO program, I'm going to let Chris kind of build on that here in just a minute. And then Eisenhower Library and Museum, just tremendous people working there, and coming alongside education. They have an education team. Several of them have spoken to me off and on, and that's really cool. And then Dickinson County, I just received a letter today from Wichita State University that there's an economic development and business research meeting going on toward the end of the month. And I think that's a tribute as well to the folks that are pretty involved in the economic development of Abilene and Dickinson County, and I just think that's pretty cool.
So you'll figure this out the longer we sit on camera together, that I repeat stuff a lot. Okay. So we're sitting in a room with a huge poster of Dwight David Eisenhower over there. The reason I keep repeating it is because it never loses its importance. So we're talking about leadership. We're sitting in Abilene, Kansas. We have Dwight David Eisenhower, the man who gave the world a second chance at freedom. We have C.L. Brown, who started the Industrial Revolution of the Midwest. And frankly, Abilene is here because of Joseph McCoy, who started the cows coming to Abilene, which beyond the cows coming to Abilene and getting on a freight train, changed the eating habits of the world, thus the economy of the world forever. Abilene has been in a constant place of leadership since there was an Abilene. I say it over and over because it's easy for people to take for granted.
That's a great segue to the CEO program.
All right.
So CEO, creating entrepreneurial opportunities for students coming to Dickinson County. It's not just Abilene, it's about the whole county's involved. But there are 51 CEO programs in the nation, and we would be the first one in Kansas. And I've already heard that there are several other districts involved. I'll be talking to the State Commissioner of Education about it next month. But our community has really stepped up. We now have 35 sponsors who have provided funds, dedicated $1,000 a year for the next 3 years to fund this. We'd like to have 15 more businesses or even individuals, but mainly it's about businesses step up and do that. It's going to be a community-based program that our schools from across the county will have students participate in by application. And they'll be learning how to run their own business. They'll be also building a huge network of connections in our community, so that I love what one of the folks that came out from CEO said, that your network is your net worth. And so what they see in communities that have this program is kids might leave and go to college or might go work somewhere in a city somewhere, but then their network is back in that hometown, so they end up coming back and working here or establishing their own businesses in this area. So very excited about that. We had a board meeting this morning. We will be starting to put out some feelers for somebody to facilitate that program. And so I should have brought the website, maybe we can get it later, but there is a Dickinson County CEO Creating Educational Opportunities website that is up, and it has the job description for that facilitator out there.
Such a key thing. We look at job creation. We've known for a long, long time that 85% of all jobs in America are created by small business. And within that number of small business, there's a large majority of entrepreneurial efforts. So the challenge in that large number is the success or failure rate. So 8 out of 10 small businesses fail. Well, we're sitting here with educators this morning on camera. We're talking about cooperating together with the Economic Development Corp of Dickinson County, Chuck Scott and Friends. The way you eliminate failures through training, teaching, mentoring, leadership.
Having that network.
You bet.
Yeah.
What an opportunity.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. We'll, here in a few months, roll out applications for students to fill out and see how it goes. But a great group of people in the community have supported that, and all the schools, to my knowledge, in the county are going to be involved at some level.
So have you got an office pool on what some of the companies
We don't.
are going to be? You should do that. Now it should be closely held secret, just the three of us and 20,000 people here.
Yeah.
But other than that, wouldn't that be fun to think about what these young people are going to come up with in ideas for business? I'll bet we're going to surprise some Main Street folks.
Right.
I think it'd be great.
And that program is limited to 20 students, but what they found out in the communities where they've implemented CEO is that every year, 2 to 4 of those businesses stick and stay around in the community. And I love that they said they've had to teach students how to have the talk, they call it, with their parents. That I'm not going to go to college right now because I'm running a $300,000 a year business in our hometown.
I hope you can live with that, Mom.
Yeah, I hope that's okay with you.
Yeah. It's okay with me.
Yeah.
Want to vote, Greg?
That'll work.
That'll work, won't it?
You bet.
What a terrific thing. So glad that that's number 1 on the list.
It is.
Mr. Brown, that you brought for us today. That's just so exciting. As we look at all the challenges of schools and business, schools, business, we have the same core need. It's for qualified people to do great things. End of story.
Yep.
And that's your task, to help prepare them, but it's also my task to help receive them and then prepare them for their next step forward. Last time I knew, all 3 of us are still moving forward in life, are we not?
I hope so.
New challenges every day.
You bet.
Don't want to get bored.
Absolutely.
It's good stuff.
The other side part to this program is that we are already building connections with businesses in town that we didn't have before because they're getting involved in this CEO program. And so my hope is once they work with students in that program, they'll see that, hey, it's a great deal to work with these young people in our community, and we'll expand this into our high school, some of those mentoring programs and opportunities to visit businesses and learn about our community and build that network.
So we need 15 more investors.
Need 15 more investors.
We can turn this into a commercial just like that.
You bet.
And if you need to know more about it, you can give us a call, but really Dickinson County Economic Development Council, Chuck and Veronica there would have a lot of information for you. And the commitment they're asking for the program is $1,000 a year for the next 3 years. And we can fully fund this thing with 15 more folks.
So I say this sometimes frequently in my business, that's the same as your paper towel budget.
Yeah.
There you go.
It really is.
And one side note, this is not paid for by the schools. It's not through the school budget. It's all community-raised funds. So this, the way the program works is at no cost to the school district. The schools actually can't pay for it. It has to be community-driven or it just won't work.
Yeah, this is going to be great for us. So excited about the opportunity.
You bet.
Okay.
Well, that leads into, we do have leadership in our schools, and I kind of took it away from you there,
No,
but I
you're
know
fine.
as a new person in town, relatively new since June, you've seen some leadership on our staff.
I have. It's really been remarkable. Just watching how the teachers lead each other, and how our administrative team challenges each other and leads well. Just really a remarkable bunch, and it's coming out in several different ways, very tangible ways. Abilene's been involved in the multi-tiered system of supports for years and years, and I think I mentioned that last time I was with you. And we had a conference about a month
September
ago
11th
now,
and 12th.
September 11th and 12th. And we had a couple different opportunities where our folks presented at that conference, and it's a very well-received conference. Middle school staff presented on what they're doing with social emotional learning, and I'll have Chris explain some of those efforts as well. And then Dr. Ben Smith and Vicki Cooper, as a former teacher of Abilene Schools, which, by the way, my wife was involved with interviewing her for her new position, and I had some real issues with that opportunity,
I'm
but
sure,
at that time. But good for Vicki, and she's an exceptional teacher and now teacher of teachers. But tell us a little bit about what they presented at the MTSS conference.
So the middle school is both around the same topic, and it's called the College and Career Competency Framework.
Right.
It comes from some research from some ladies at KU. Is what do people need in the workplace to be successful? And yeah, they need academic preparation, but there's a lot of being able to self-regulate, have self-efficacy skills, be assertive, have integrity, all those things. And so our middle school presented specifically on how they've taught middle school students to be assertive. And you, on first hearing, you think, why would you teach a middle school student to be more assertive? But really understanding that being assertive is not aggressive, it's not passive, it's that sweet spot, and at the same time respecting the other person's views. So they've had some great success, and they presented, some teachers came down and presented, did a really nice job. The authors were there. The developers of this have been out to train our staff and have given us a lot of free PD, and they're kind of standing up Abilene High School and middle school as this is how we think it could be done across the state.
I want to jump on your middle school comment. We sat here, I think probably you and I and Denise Guy talked about the kindness initiative in the middle school over the last several years.
Right.
So you're laying assertiveness over kindness. That's how you hit the sweet spot.
Right.
Assertiveness and kindness mixture yields great results.
Yeah, kindness
Assertiveness without
action.
kindness yields aggression.
Right.
So this has been done well. You're building on a foundation of kindness to properly have an assertive position or positive position in your communication, a skill we all need.
And the next competency skill they're working on this year is conflict management. So once, if all this has failed and you do have a conflict, how do you deal with that? And so really exciting stuff. And then Dr. Smith and Vicki also, same topic, different. They were on a panel discussion about how you sustain that once you start it. Because our high school's in the third year of teaching kids how to self-regulate. How do you make a plan to complete a project? How do you make adjustments when it doesn't work? Just the things that we expect kids to be able to do, but we haven't been really intentional about teaching them how to do it. So they were on a panel there. And I would just say that MTSS conference, to me, is one of the best conferences in the nation, if not the best. And it's by invitation only. So it really was an honor for those folks to get asked to come present there.
Sounds like it. That's terrific. It's always a good sign for an organization when people are recognized for their ability to speak to the topic.
Well, and we have a philosophy that it benefits Abilene if we impact the greater education community.
True.
There may be a potential candidate in the future sitting there in that audience, and they're hearing about our middle school, and they're thinking, you know what? If there's an opening in Abilene, I'm going to apply. And it builds confidence. It helps the team build their collective efficacy, which we know is really important if we believe in each other's ability. So, yeah, it was an honor. Good stuff.
I will point out from the business side, you're speaking about an educational conference. School board members and things like that, those people attend some of those things, but I want to address the point, you never know who's listening.
Yeah.
As a community who's looking to recruit not just teachers, but doctors, but businesses, residents, never missing a chance to put your best foot forward is a great thing in a community. And the point you're making for us with this discussion, Chris, is you're doing this there. You're putting our best foot forward with talented people, showing the people in the larger educational arena who we have, what they think, and letting the marketplace test them. That's terrific.
Exactly.
Well, and actually, some of the other things we have lined up to talk about are opportunities that have been created because of those exposures that our teachers have had. I've got several calls from Technical Assistance Network at the state saying, we have this opportunity, there's a grant, would Abilene choose to be a part of it? Last year we were one of 2 districts in the nation, in the state that were selected for a mental health initiative to train our staff how to deal with some of the new mental health challenges, and we're still participating in that. But I believe that opportunity came about because of Abilene having its name out there as a leader, and we're ready to take on challenges to become better.
Excellent. Excellent.
Chris and several teachers attended a workshop late last week with that very group and talked about mental health initiative and really getting into the fine-tuned work of working with kids who have some significant challenges. And it was really interesting to see from Chris, I got a text message from him, how one of our folks our school psychologist
Yeah.
was actually invited to present at the end of that workshop, which was really neat.
We were there as a participant, and she was showing the trainer her stuff, and he said, "Is there any way you could get up and present that?"
That's terrific.
And so just that type of leadership is great. The other nice thing about that particular workshop, we had the right people around the table. We had folks from our Community Mental Health Center, Glenna Phillips, and some folks there. So we're all getting on the same page as a school. And then our educational co-op who provides special education services. We had them at the table, and we had folks from our district. So it was a really unique opportunity to get everybody on the same page, start speaking the same language to help kids across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Greg set the goal to talk about leadership today, and this is just example of leadership from the school for the betterment of not only the school, but the entire community.
Yep.
Right.
You bet. We do have some individuals that are going to be recognized in their fields
Okay.
as well toward the end of the month. Kansas Physical Education Conference, I think officially it's Kansas PE Recreation and Dance, I believe is the name of the conference.
I'm telling you.
But Derek Burns received an award. It was in the newspaper here a few weeks ago. PE Teacher of the Year, which is really cool. And so what did we do? We pulled him out of teaching PE. But so he's an administrator for us now, but a terrific young man. He's going to be receiving an award in Pittsburgh at the end of the month, toward the end of the month. And it's interesting as well, Arian Sadell is also going to receive an award. I believe she had a special program that she promoted at Lewisburg, where she was at last year, and so she's going to also receive an award. And Chris was accepted into a class from the Kansas Association of School Boards recently. It's called BOLD, and Business and Operations and Leadership and Development.
Okay.
And that's a year-long opportunity for Chris, but again,
That's excellent.
Speaks well of our district that these things are being presented.
I got your joke on Derek Burns. They may not have gotten your joke, so you need to explain that. Okay, he was PE Teacher of the Year, and you said, so what did we do? We pulled him out of the classroom and made him administrator. But now you need to explain why that's a valid thing to do.
Well, I think, when you have strong leaders in the classroom, it's only natural to look at how they could broaden their influence. And Derek is doing just that. He's actually championing our health grant project that we met this morning over, and just really a sharp young man. And
it's from business again. School is just a business on every education. So it's an essential thing that there's a path of promotion for people who excel at a level, because they can then spread their knowledge, their wisdom, their methods across a broader base. You can't grow as an organization without promoting a Derek Burns.
Right.
So that's how that works. And it's good for us to know from a USD 435 update that your business organization is producing people like that. You're recruiting them, you're allowing them to prosper, and then you're putting them in a position of power to be able to help spread that talent over a broader base. That's a good thing for us.
Well, one of the things that I mentioned, our philosophy, before we went on camera, I mentioned that we really want every teacher to be a leader, and actually, yes, every student to be a leader, but we try to equip our teachers in specific areas to lead others, and we have tons of examples of that. And you go to this grade level, you may have a teacher who math is their thing, and all the other teachers look to them, how are we going to get better in math? And then another one might be behavior. So we really try to equip everybody to be leaders. One of the things that we mentioned, or we're going to mention, was I got a unique phone call last week from a lady at the state level who said, "We've got some folks from Australia coming and they want to see certain things, and I thought of Abilene. Would you be willing to let them come out and visit some classrooms?" So next Wednesday, we're going to have some folks from Australia coming to visit some Abilene classrooms. I'm working on the schedule still for them, but one of the main things they wanted to see is how we address students who learn differently, students with special needs, and we do that in a general ed classroom without pulling them out. Okay. And then my first comment was, I'm not sure where we want to be with that. I think we do a pretty good job of it, but she said, well, you guys are doing it better than other places I've seen, so we'd like to come visit. And to me, we still have work to do there, but a lot of things they want to see our MTSS process, how we do address needs when we identify, okay, this student in second grade is not reading where they should be. How do we use research-based interventions and help them get up? And our data, by the time our kids get through high school, is some of the best around on that. So kind of a unique opportunity.
So this is one of the things I repeat all the time. I'm giving you warning because, I've known you a while.
That's all right.
So Chris just said this. A lady from the state called and said, we have somebody coming in, and I thought of Abilene. Goal.
Yep.
Think of Abilene. As everything we do into that lens is about people thinking of our town, our community, as a positive solution to some existing problem.
Right.
If we can stay there, if we can have the leadership to stay there, all of us in our roles, that's a win.
Well, to me, that group's spending the night in Lawrence, Kansas. A lot of people would think just go to Lawrence, but they're choosing to drive out to Abilene to see what our teachers in our classrooms are doing. So.
Well, Greg, the good news is you know that Abilene's a place to be here because you're here.
That's right. That's right.
People may look at Chris and I and go, they have no choice. They've been here so long they don't know the road out of town. Well, that's not true for you.
No.
You came here deliberately.
That's true.
Because of Abilene and because of what USD 435 offers as a future in education for not only you as a job, but for the people you work with and all the students you serve.
Exactly.
And you told me that sitting in front of the camera last time.
That's right.
What a great place to be in, the three of us today, sitting here, nothing but good things to talk about.
You bet.
In our life, in our school, in our community, and leadership says it all.
Exactly.
Well, I know we're out of time, so I was going to ask Chris to give us his best. I'm about to eat a child. Look for the picture we put up on our website. Yeah, that's the one right there. You go. That's the one.
That's my old principal face.
We're going to try to get Dave to get us all three smiling at the end. Just once. I'd like to have all, especially me, smiling on
That'd
camera.
be great.
Thanks for hosting me
You
today.
bet.
I sure had fun as always.
All righty. It's our pleasure.
I'm Dennis Weiss. I work for Eagle Broadband. You've been watching a USD 435 update. We know you enjoyed it. Have a great day.